What's going on, guys? Waco from Revolution here with Constant Klong and the Revolution Watch Bar. And we are so pleased to announce to you our latest collaboration with the incredible Laurent Ferrier, the classic Micro-Rotor Amazonia.
Beautiful. I mean, wow, the dial. I mean, it's actually a two-tone green dial. I just noticed it, with the light shimmering.
You know what's really cool is because you have like this opaline finish in the center, and then you have this, circular brushing underneath the applied indexes.
Yeah.
It reflects light in different ways. And so as a result, even though it's treated with one uniform color, when you're moving it around, either the center becomes darker and then the outer track becomes lighter, or vice versa, which I think is really cool. But okay, let's talk about Laurent Ferrier.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, it's true that the world has clearly gone crazy about all things independent watchmaking.
Yes.
Right? And for a very clear reason for me. I mean, when people are looking for something that's really unique, really singular, you want a watch that's made by one person that has a vision that's clearly expressed by the type of watches that he makes. When I think about really beautiful neoclassical watchmaking, meaning watches that are really classic with a hint of modernism, but really restrained and understated, I think the master of that has got to be Laurent Ferrier.
Yeah.
Right? So Laurent Ferrier, as you guys may very well know, he spent 37 years of his professional life at Patek, and at one point was the head of product over there. And then also in his spare time, he's a very accomplished race car driver, which is really funny. Like when you meet him, he just looks like the sweetest man possible.
Yeah.
It's hard to imagine him like getting super aggro behind the wheel.
Aggressive driver.
But in the same year that Paul Newman came in second at Le Mans, in the 24 hours of Le Mans, Laurent Ferrier and his partner Francois came in third, which is an incredible achievement.
It's really great.
Okay, but let's talk about his design. So in 2009, he created his own brand, and he created a watch called the Tourbillon Double Spiral or Double Hairspring, which from a design perspective was so stunning because it just looked like a watch with such extraordinary history, even though it was new. It felt like it had always been there, right?
Yeah.
And everything was about nuance, soft detail, the thinness of the Roman indexes, the refinement of the assegai hands, which are modeled after the spears of African warriors.
I mean, it's crazy, with all the complications and the nice little touch of elegance,
Subsequently, he launched a very important watch as well, which was his classic Micro-Rotor.
Yes.
And so this was the motivation behind this was like, people were like, Laurent, I love your watch, but could you please make a more accessibly priced watch because not everyone can have a tourbillon. And he very wonderfully complied, and he came up with a really cool automatic movement.
Yes.
So the Micro-Rotor is a very interesting watch in that it is not just using a Micro-Rotor as the name would imply, but it's also using Breguet's escapement naturel, right? Or natural escapement.
That's a mouthful.
Yeah. So, Breguet, everyone thinks of him as being the guy that created the tourbillon to counteract the effects of gravity, which was true.
Yes.
But he was also trying to counteract the effects of very poor lubrication back in the day, right? So he was very famous for saying, give me the perfect oil and I'll make you the perfect watch. And for many years, he experimented on trying to create an escapement that didn't need any form of lubrication. And finally, he came up with the natural escapement.
Yes.
So the natural escapement uses 2 escape wheels as opposed to 1. And it basically eliminates sliding friction. It's basically impulsing a little lever in between that locks and unlocks both of the wheels. And it's that lever that's actually impulsing the balance wheel. You get an impulse in both directions. So it's even more precise.
Even more efficient as well.
Okay, so one of the things that I really love about Laurent Ferrier was his incredible design ability, right? And I remember when we finally had the opportunity to collaborate with him, he said, wait, what kind of watch do you want? And I said, I already know. And he said, okay, calm down. Sit down and explain it to me. And I said, well, you make some of the most beautiful sector dial watches.
Oh, yes.
But it's really a watch that he collaborated with the world's most famous auctioneer, Auerbach, to create that really stuck in my mind. And so this is a watch that Auerbach, Aura Montanari, the legendary John Goldberger, and my friend Alex Goppi, who also works at Philips, all got together and created together with Laurent Ferrier. And so he said, okay, so you would like something along these lines. I said, Laurent, if you could make this happen, I would be so immeasurably grateful. And he came up with this watch. So this is our first limited edition with Laurent Ferrier.
Wow.
Now this is very interesting too, because this was the same year that he launched the Classic Origin. And the Classic Origin is this manual wind movement, right? And it's characterized by this really cool looking black polish, flat bladed ratchet spring, which is just here, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's all there, And I like the finishing as well on the balance bridge, the frosting, finishing.
But as you can see, this is a manual wind watch,
yes.
Right? So the subsequent year in 2021, we finally had the opportunity to collaborate with him on this incredible watch, which has the Micro-Rotor and natural escapement.
Yeah.
Right, and this is also a sector dial watch, and this is kind of like, I like to think of Laurent is most exuberant. As you can see, the radiation of the indexes kind of flows out almost to the perimeter of the dial. You can see that there's a sun ray effect on it as well, giving it extra luminosity.
I really like the bigger numerals. So on the shiny looking dial, I think is
Gives
really
it a
quite cool.
little bit more just sort of like sexiness, you know?
Yeah.
But then when we decided to work on our third collaboration, Laurent said, you know what, I would like to elevate the language of our sector dial collaborations. And I said, Laurent, well, what do you mean by this, sir? And he said, let's go back to the more restrained Arabic indexes that we had in the first watch. But let's have them be applied, you know? And I was like, wow, that's a great idea. And then he said, wait, what do you think of the idea that the actual sector track, instead of being printed or double or triple printed, it's actually a piece of white gold. And we will fix this onto the dial just like an applied index. So you can see here, it's actually made of white rhodium treated gold, which is incredible to me.
Wow, the contrast is...
That's it, you know? And it actually lifts the entire feeling
It
of
really
this.
does. I mean, wow, compare.
Yeah, so you see that's printed and that's applied. Huge difference.
yeah.
In combination with this iconography that has now comprised our trilogy of watches with him, it's just so stunning to behold. And then of course, then I said, well, you know, Laurent, there's nothing else for me to say. Do you think we could make this a Micro-Rotor escapement naturel? And he said, yes, I think we can consider that. And then finally he said, what color dial should we do? And at this point I was like, Laurent, I think our relationship works best if I just sit here and you tell me. So he said, you know, Wei, I love the idea of doing something that is a homage to nature. And there's no natural resource more valuable than the Amazon rainforest.
Wow.
So why don't we do a green dial reminiscent of this incredible resource, and we'll call it Amazonia. And I said, I love that. I know it happens to be the home to one of the greatest number of species on the planet. I know it creates the most oxygen as well.
Yes, that's true, yeah.
And so in a world where we're always thinking about our interaction with the planet, it's a lovely tribute.
Yeah.
And he said, you know, Wei, you know, something that people should know about mechanical watches is the following. For me, they're one of the most ethical objects on the planet. Why? Because once they're created, they endure forever.
Yeah.
And they only take the energy that is imparted to them by either winding them or wearing them. And I said, oh, that's cool. And he said, one last thing, Wei. I thought, yes, Laurent, tell me. He said, normally a Micro-Rotor has to rotate 300 times to wind the barrel one turn. Right?
Wow.
But it says because of the efficiency of the natural escapement, our rotor only has to wind 200 times. I said, oh, that's so cool.
Oh, 100 times less, that's a lot.
Yeah, exactly. So
Wow,
everything
nice,
kind of made sense. He said, and the resulting watch to me is absolutely stunning.
Absolutely stunning, yeah.
So that's it, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Constance, thank you so much for being here with me for the launch of this wonderful watch. It is the Revolution times Laurent Ferrier classic Micro-Rotor Amazonia.
What are you waiting for, guys? Thank you, Wei. All right,
Cheers.
thank you for sharing.
Thanks.